Hello, welcome to the CDL project. I am Nick, joined with Harrison, aka Defiant. We are going to be talking about the OpTic gaming news, that being that Hecz has bought OpTic back, and what does that mean potentially for the Huntsmen going forward. The potential buyers that have been mostly discussed is Theives being day shot, and we have some thoughts on this. So let's talk about this. What do you think so far?
Well, first of all, I think that the community's absolutely been blowing up about this. Like every channel's been covering it. It has been even the Call of Duty League, which we'll get into. And so I think this was something that we could not make a video on, because this is a big game changer, honestly, for the whole CDL. And my initial thoughts off the bat, I think I woke up or something and I looked on Twitter and I literally saw Hex bought back OpTic and I was mind blown because I mean some people were saying that like they didn't think it was going to happen so soon, but for me, I didn't think it was going to happen at all. Like I thought he
I
was
didn't.
just kind of like
I
I
didn't
thought he
think
would
it
let
was
go.
either.
Yeah, it's like almost like this is a weird comparison, but I almost compare it to like a relationship. You break up with a person, you completely get over them, and that like why would you go back, and like not that getting Optic back is not awesome because I think it is, but I mean like I just thought he was going to focus on the Huntsman and build that brand. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
that's my initial thoughts.
I never thought I'd ever see OpTic in a positive light ever again. It
Me neither.
was it was such a strange, the breaking up of X and OpTic with the Immortals buyout last year was such a strange thing to have happen. It was strange to see, the fan base flip so quickly. And now that that's over, now Hex has OpTic back according to all the news sources. It's all been confirmed
Yeah.
officially. But even though he has said that there's been projects in LA, in various places, he's had said he's been in LA recently for projects. So we all know that mostly entails that being more likely than not OpTic. Um, the buying out of Huntsman though is interesting because we don't know what that means for the Huntsman if or in what Hex wants to do with OpTic. The rumor was he wanted to bring OpTic to Chicago and dump the Huntsman right outright. But the CDL blocked that. Apparently, they didn't want to have teams switching names and switching cities. So OpTic is going to stay in LA. Chicago is going to stay in Chicago unless they decide to bring in new ownership, and the new ownership decides to change the name, which I think would personally be pretty silly. I don't think I've, off the top of my head, I don't think I've ever seen a new ownership group of a professional sports league switch the name when a new ownership got in. They always kept the same name. Um,
uh
Go ahead.
or sorry, I was about to say, for me personally, I mean I kind of have two ways to think of this. For me personally, assuming that like this isn't a world where the Call of Duty League like doesn't need to give you permission, right? So like if I'm Hex and I want to just do what's best for me, in my opinion at least, I'm not even saying Hex probably thinks this because maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but I think ideally you would need to take, or if there's just any way that you can get the OpTic name, so like whether it's Chicago, LA, I don't care. If you can get OpTic back in the name because of the absolute history of that organization, the amount of following that like I mean I know they lost some followers in the past year because it's been run by different people who didn't do it very well, but I think with the foundation that they have, I feel like while the Huntsmen have been doing great and they had potential to look like OpTic maybe in the next 5 or 6 years, I think it would be very advantageous for them to just go ahead and get that OpTic name back in it because a lot of people will love to cheer on OpTic again. But and then that brings me to my other point is we are in the real world. Call of Duty League does have to give them permission. So realistically, maybe that's not an option. And so I honestly don't really know what he's gonna do because I think there's a lot of different things he can do. Um, and so yeah,
I think
honestly,
the hopeful in many fans of competitive COD is that they somehow finagle their way to get OpTic to Chicago, but the realist in me says that the teams are going to stay where they are, and the new ownership of Huntsman, if that's what ends up happening, is OpTic and Energy sell the Chicago Huntsman to whomever that may be. There's been a couple names that's been thrown around. There's been one popular one that everyone really wanted, and that was Thieves. I've seen United a couple different places. There's a couple other teams off the top of my head. I think Cloud9 was in the discussion somewhere. They have an OWL team.
Rise Nation, maybe.
Rise Nation was in there as well. Those are the speculative teams that might come in next year, assuming the expansion happens for 22. But since that
Yeah.
there's potentially a spot now, there's a chance that some of those teams that were interested next year might be able to snake a spot, and probably for a cheaper price, because it's considering brand new teams are going to be sold for a whole lot more than the 25 million that the initial 12 got in with. They'll probably be the sellers are probably still going to be at a profit. They're not going to sell the league spot that they bought for 25 million and sell it for 25 million and break even. They're going to want to try and get something out of it. Well, let's talk 100 Thieves. That was the popular rumor. That was the one that everyone wanted to see, whether it was Nadeshot and 100 Thieves, or if it was the doc being a board member of some kind, or just a major investor. The doc being Doctor Disrespect, for those who don't know. I don't. You're living under a rock and don't have the internet if you don't know who the Doctor Disrespect is. But the board blocked it. 100 Thieves board didn't want it. So anyway, this is interesting considering the 100 Thieves brand has been pulling out of certain esports recently. CS:GO is the big one, and they went all in into Valorant, but NACS being dying, and Valorant being a brand new esport, and potentially with the major potential of it be blowing up like League of Legends. 100 Thieves is throwing their hat in the ring quick and getting a lot of the really good players, a lot of the expensive players. So maybe that's the board saying, "Hey, we're gonna get with something that's guaranteed to bring us something soon because we've worked with Riot before. Because 100 Thieves still has a League of Legends spot. 100 Thieves wouldn't be opposed to a franchise league. They are in the League of Legends franchise league in NA, so they're not opposed to it. But it's interesting that they, instead of doing Nadeshot's passion project, which is COD, and saying no, and going to get Valorant is an interesting thing. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about COD. The It is very unfortunate that Nate isn't able to get into this league. It would have been huge. It would have been great for viewership. It would have been great for the fans. Everyone would have loved it. I don't think there's no one. I don't believe there's any person that would have said this is terrible.
Um, that almost brings me like I sort of think about how the whole thing might have gone down. Again, it's just pure speculation. I obviously have no way of knowing if any of this is true. But to me, I mean, we saw the stream clip. I think we all saw it, to where Nate Shot was like playing Warzone or something, and he talked about how like he likes the ring of LA Thieves, but he just doesn't know if it's like the time or place to be able to do that right now. And the way I see it is, I think Nate Shot probably maybe went to his board and was just like, can we please try, like, because they obviously, I think they all mutually agreed that last year they couldn't do it, and they didn't, obviously. But I thought that maybe they could get a slightly better deal than they would have if they had bought the spot last year. And again, I don't know if that's true or not. But I still think that the board kind of disagreed with them in the sense that like maybe they all want to get into Call of Duty, but they know that waiting maybe just another year or two may be way safer. Kind of like Nick was saying, just like it could be just like you don't want to take that risk just to get in when you know you can get in a year. And it sucks to not be in this year because Cold War could be an awesome COD. But I mean, I think long term, this probably might be the smartest thing. And as a COD fan, you'd love to see like 100 Thieves to like not play in any esport but COD if that's what it needs to do. Because maybe there's a world where Nate Shot like would be okay with that because he came up with Call of Duty. Um,
Yeah,
but overall, or yeah, sorry, I was
I
going to say I do think that Nate Shot in the CDL would be huge, and I do hope it happens one day. So
yeah, I think when they made 100 Thieves, it was a clothing brand. There was nothing esports about it from the start. It was just hoodies, shirts, and various other merchandise, and that was the big thing, and it blew up hella cool. It was cool because it was just a clothing brand. It was like, holy shit, this is something I can go and wear in public. I can wear this to
I got
work.
a jacket.
Yeah, he's got a jacket. I almost bought a jacket. That shit was cool as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Um, shit's expensive as fuck though. Anyway,
Yeah.
um, but then when he got the esports part into it, he got major investment from it was Drake, right?
Yeah, Drake,
Yeah,
and there was like some basketball player, I think,
yeah,
like LeBron or something, or Michael Jordan.
something like that.
Don't
No,
quote me on that, but yeah,
Michael Jordan. Anyway,
it was one of those two.
um, but they had major investment into the esports program. They have major facilities in LA now. You would think I don't buy that they didn't have the resources last year or this year. I guarantee you, 100 Thieves has the financial means to field a COD team. The only thing I could see them potentially struggling with is renting out a venue. But even then, I'm sure the CDL would figure out a way to get that to work. The CDL isn't stupid, despite what many people think. The management knows what they're doing, and if they can get Nate Shot into COD, they're going to figure out a way to do it. And if that means financial help, I don't doubt that they would, throw in a few dollars here or there to get 100 Thieves the resources they need to get into the league. Obviously, 100 Thieves would have to pay the entry fee themselves, whether that's be buying it from Hecz or buying it from the Activision themselves. But I think there's not much else to say on that. It's not gonna happen as of right now. It probably won't happen for at least another year, probably more. If I'm being realistic, I don't see 100 Thieves and Nade Shot being in COD for probably the next 4 years. I don't know about you, but that's my realistic guess is 4 years.
Hmm. Um. Well, honestly, I was gonna kind of talk about more about OpTic Chicago and LA OpTic, but I think that kind of would almost go with what we were talking about originally, like with how that could work and if that would work. So I do want to talk about though. I'm sure most of us have seen the kind of out of nowhere CDL video, and I think it even says like OpTic Envoy question mark in the
Yep,
title.
it's
And
right in
as
the
soon
title, and it's got emojis in it too.
Yeah, and it's like as soon as I saw that, like my initial thought on that, like when I saw it, it gave me more confidence that that could happen just because like I'm not saying it's not possible that they could be trolling, and I honestly don't know if I want to believe if they're trolling or not, but the fact that they even went to like say something like that um kind of makes me almost think that it could happen, but I don't know. Like there's really um I just say 50-50. Like I genuinely do not know what to make of that, but I think it is kind of funny that they did that.
Yeah,
Um, it confirms that something's happening. I mean,
yeah,
we knew that, but I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I don't think the Call of Duty League has really been one to just do something like that to like speculate. Uh, I mean, to my knowledge, to my memory at
yeah. The
least. So
the official channels for any league doesn't ever do speculation like that. They don't lead into rumors for the most part, unless they're like posting an article of a one of their writers who's talking about it. It's never the official CDL YouTube channel that makes a proper video, and then in parentheses titles OpTic Envoy or whatever it is that for that particular thing, and it puts an emoji next to it in the title and then have a little mini like 10-second clip of Envoy, saying Hecz bought OpTic. No, I don't know nothing about it. I don't know nothing about it.
no comment.
Envoy 100% knows what's going on. I guarantee it. There's no way he doesn't because that was scripted. That was a scripted segment.
Yeah,
The
you know. Or sorry, go
it's
ahead.
I will say the social media people at the CDL, you guys deserve a raise. That was incredible that you guys did that and made fun of all the leakers by just coming out and saying, "Hey, we've seen the leaks, and we're gonna troll you. We're gonna fire you guys up for a week, and then we're not gonna say anything for a month. I guarantee we don't hear the CDL doesn't talk about this for a month at least."
Um, well, honestly, another thing that I kind of have to say about that is, sort of in the sense of what you were saying in praising the CDL for doing something like that. I think whether or not, because we don't know if that's true or not, we don't know if it's a troll or not, but we do, or I can kind of see that it was very smart for them to do that because, um, all they did really was stir the pot. They kind of made people start discussing it because when besides like the Huntsmen and OpTic themselves talking about it, the Call of Duty League is the Call of Duty League, and so like when they say something like that, like you don't like I don't know like it's such an it's the most official league source because it's coming from them. That probably didn't make much sense, but I
It's
think because of that they have created so much confusion, and now because they tweeted it out, we know it's definitely on the table, or they made a YouTube video. I mean, and so I think that everyone's talking about it now, and that is good for them. But I also think that they made a video like that because I was talking about how we're not used to the Call of Duty League making content like that. But I think a little bit of the reason behind that is because I think a lot because of COVID and we're having such a big off season that they, I think Maven or something made a video saying we're going to be making multiple pieces of content a week. And I think this may be kind of the new direction the CDL is going in. So I would not be surprised if we see a video like this on other topics in the future.
yeah, this would be cool. I my favorite. I would hope CDL social media team. If for whatever reason you find this, for one, what are you doing here? Second, um,
Yeah.
please make the best troll video on the pros making GAs, and I will. I don't know what I'll do, but I need to see you guys make fun of the pro GAs. You guys won't enforce them in the games, but you could at least make fun of them, please, for me.
They got
Um,
a lot of content they could do if they do it
yeah,
right.
there's so much they can do, and I can't imagine that this one-off thing is gonna be the only thing that they ever do. For baiting into rumors and stuff, I'd be shocked if we never, if a week or two from now, the next rumor that sparks and blows up competitive COD on Twitter, the CDL official YouTube channel doesn't make a video the next day or the next week and just stirs the pot a little bit more. It says, hey, this is something's going on here. We're not going to tell you
Mm-hmm.
what it is, but we're going to say something's happening.
You know what's interesting? Sorry to cut you off a little bit, but I just thought of this. Whenever we do find out, like I don't know how long it's gonna be, but whenever we do find out the real answer, we're gonna know also whether or not the Call of Duty League did troll us or not. And if they did, we're gonna be like, oh crap, can we trust them when they do this? Do we know it's a troll? Because then the next time they do it, maybe they are telling the truth, and we think they're trolling them. So like they can really play mind games with us, and we're only really gonna be able to speculate on that, like when we know. But the last thing that I wanted to kind of ask myself, and you're also obviously welcome to give your own overall thoughts to this kind of thing, but I kind of want to ask myself and you a question. I'll answer it first. Is I guess, and you can also include 100T because you already kind of gave your prediction on what they're gonna do. But if you like knowing kind of what we know and what we're speculating, how do you think this is gonna all go down? Like in the sense of how do you think the Chicago OpTic thing or LA OpTic is going to go down? And then you can maybe even touch on 100 Thieves. So for me, um, I mean, I'm really trying to take any bias out of it in the sense of like what I want to happen and what would be good for the CDL. I think in the most realistic mindset, man, because then this is tough. I mean,
You want me to go first?
yeah, I need
I
some
have a
time to
couple.
think.
I have a
Because
couple
also,
ideas.
sorry, let me also add this in. You have to also think about TJ getting confirmed, like and back to OpTic because he got re-signed or whatever.
He did.
You need to think about yeah.
Okay.
They OpTic tweeted out like a week or two ago, "Welcome back, TJ." So you got to think
Okay.
about TJ Slasher, Kenny, and whoever and like Draza or whatever, whoever their sub is. So keep that in mind too when you're answering.
Okay. So what I think happens to OpTic is since Hecz is more likely to not have it back, I don't think anything immediate is going to change. I think the fan base obviously is going to switch over to support OpTic again. Um, and I honestly hope that those that stay with the Huntsmen don't the now new OpTic fan base doesn't turn on the Huntsmen like they did to OpTic this past year. But in my opinion, I don't think anything immediate is going to change because right now you still have at least four players confirmed to OpTic. Uh, there's talks that the CDL might allow all of the energy staff to transfer over to OpTic, but that doesn't include the players because the players are contracted to play for Huntsmen anyway. Um, so there's a good chance that Hecz is running a team without Scump on it, which
Yeah.
is nuts. Um, and then after that, going into the Huntsman thing and what potentially happens to them with new owners, uh, taking in my personal bias, I would personally like to see E United back in. E United was great. It was a great org. Granted, it had a lot of backing because of Clay. Clay brought a huge fan base to E United, but I think E United has grown a lot since Clay was on the team and since Clay has left the team. It has a great fan base. It's got multiple teams and multiple different sports, esports. Sorry, they're different. There's a major difference between the two. Um, Not to me though. Anyway, they're making money. They make bank. They certainly have the resources. They almost got in year one. They almost got in but didn't make it. But I think my personal bias, my hope is that United takes that spot. But from what I heard, they wanted a Houston spot, not anywhere else. So my the realistic thing, honestly, for me is maybe Hex splits from Energy completely. I don't see a way where you're right now. There's not many people there. There is people out there that's looking for a CDL spot. United, Rise, and Nade Shot wants it, but 100 Thieves board doesn't. There's people that want the spot, but realistically, given the current world pandemic, no one's buying nothing right now. I get no one's dropping 25 million minimum on a esport franchise league that may or may not be able to perform at its best, considering that we may or may not have lands this year. So I think honestly, in order to even get this to to work properly, I think in the short term, Hex probably has to separate from NRG and run OpTic on his own for a bit with all the staff that he brings with him, probably guys like Hitch and them other guys. And then we'll probably end up seeing, Scump and Formal and whoever the team will be for 22 will follow Hex as soon as the contracts run out. I don't know how Energy is going to be able to transfer everything over there. I mean, they have ownership of both teams right now. They're required to only have one and they need to sell the other. So they could, just sell Huntsman, but I don't see a spot where, or see a team that's going to want to buy right now. If 100 Thieves isn't going to want to buy now, who else is going to do it? I think 100 Thieves is probably the one with the biggest wallet right now. And if they're not buying, who's going to buy?
Yeah. The way I kind of think of it, so this whole thing of like Hex buying back OpTic, right? This we're talking millions of dollars, just like not even like saying like directly like which flow of, or which way it's going and stuff, but like there are millions of dollars being exchanged basically right now. And I like to speculate and say that this may not be likely, or it's going to be hard for Hex to get what we think he may be wanting because of all these moving pieces. And I think that we're correct to think that yeah, I don't, because like you have to have someone to buy it and stuff. But I also this will kind of bring me into this kind of will launch me into what I'm trying to say. Uh, I don't obviously know Hex, but I think when you're talking millions of dollars like this, I don't think Hex buys OpTic for whatever price, whatever ungodly price it was, because it was probably a lot. I don't think he does this without first talking to the league, talking to potential buyers. Like I don't think he does this if he doesn't know something can happen that he likes. Like I don't think he's just gonna buy it and then hope he can do something with it. I think
He
anybody
needs
with
to
million
he needs to have
dollars.
it approved. Just
Yeah,
sorry to
yeah.
interject, but this is the OpTic Gaming brand is a Call of Duty League brand now, so it needs to be approved by Activision.
hmm And yeah, so that's kind of just like, um, I feel like if they're, at least for right now, if Hex cannot get something within reason and something that he likes, I don't think he would have bought OpTic right now. And with that being said, I do think, to some of our surprise, at least, like I think something good's gonna happen here. Um, it's not likely. Obviously, we pretty much know 100 Thieves is not going to buy it, and we talk about these other potential investors, like even like Doctor Disrespect or something, maybe teaming up with somebody. That could be like that in itself could be the reason an org does it, because maybe that org doesn't want to pay for it all, but like if they do some kind of a partnership with Doctor Disrespect, because that guy's probably pretty rich. Um, and just overall, just to kind of like say what I think is going to happen. Um, I think that um, while Hecz probably initially wanted to be OpTic Chicago, I don't think that, for whatever reason, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that they're going to have to be LA OpTic, and I think that the Huntsman spot is going to be sold. Sort of what you were saying. Um, and I think if I had to bet on it, I would say an org is teaming up with Doctor Disrespect. I honestly don't want to go as far as to say what org, because that would just be literally guessing. Could be United, could be Rise, could be 100 Thieves for all we know. Probably not, but I think Hecz would not have done this if he did not know. Forget for sure. Like, you're not going to spend millions on something if you don't know for sure you can make something work with it. So I trust just in reason and in logic on this. I don't want to overthink it too much and think that anybody would be that dumb to just buy something that expensive and just like not know if you can do anything with it. Because that'd be, I mean, you also talk about the conflict of interest. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but to where the CDL is not going to allow Hecz to own OpTic LA and Chicago Huntsmen, because if they play each other, you don't know if competitive integrity is being withheld. So, yeah, that's kind of how I think. I think the Huntsmen will be sold. I think another org will be in the league this year, and I think that it will be LA OpTic. I don't think it's ideal that they're LA OpTic. Like, I don't think LA is ideal, but I think that yeah, that's the direction I see them going. I think so. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing the way I said that.
No,
Um,
it was pretty good. Um, okay. I think we've covered everything we wanted to cover for today talking about this.
yep.
This weekend, we're going to get another podcast out. We're going to finish our roster media discussion from last week, and we're going to see if there's any few other things that we can talk about. If you guys want us to talk about anything, let us know in the comments below. We'll see you Sunday.
Thank you guys for watching.